All right, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Happy 2024. This is the first live of this year. I'm just making sure that y'all can see me in all of my places. While y'all are coming on, if you're here, drop me a comment. Hopefully, I'll be able to see your names and call you out. Okay. I'm live here. Good. So we are on LinkedIn. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. So wherever you're coming from, drop me a comment so that I can make sure to shout you out for being here live. And then if you're catching me on the replay, definitely let me know that you're here with the hashtag replay, and then we will be able to chat. Okay, so I see my connection is good. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. Just drop me a quick comment to let me know. And then we will get started. All right, so I know I have a lot of new faces. So I'm going to be doing an introduction. I'm going to be talking a little bit about what it is that I do, and then I'm going to jump into the content for today. So if you are new here, my name is Kirsten Allen, and I am your career pivot strategist. And essentially, what I do is I help high performing leaders to take their existing skill sets and translate it into the career of their dreams without getting another degree or a certification. We take what we have to get what we want. Okay. So that's what you're going to find on this page. And in this live stream series, you'll be able to catch me live every Wednesday talking about different topics and shifting your mindset around what it is that you're currently doing and how you can use those exact same skill sets to, in some case, double or even triple, because we're pulling out the facts today, your existing salary, and how you can create a total package that not only fits you salary wise, because I'm all about making money, but also being fulfilled, right? So the best people who work with me are people who know they have something deeper inside of them. I get chills when I talk about it because I know what that feeling is like, to be like, there's a little flicker of something here, but I'm just not sure how to walk that thing out, or I'm not at a place where I'm ready to take a chance to walk that thing out. So for me, and I'll tell you just a little bit about my story again, because this is my first live this year and there are so many new people. But this whole journey, when I really sat down and thought about it, this whole pivoting and, putting yourself in different places is something that I've done all my life, y'all. Like, I even just think back to summertime and wanting to figure out how to make money as like a 9 or 10 year old in summer, and putting together a lemonade stand outside of my door. That was my divine assignment right then, that this was my calling of taking charisma and turning it into a lemonade stand. Or, I also did different things in school, like selling candy and things like that. So this process, and I'm saying this, hopefully you may be able to resonate with some of this as well, of like, there are these things that have just been innate, and maybe at some points you couldn't put your finger on, like, what is that thing? So this work was that for me. And in 2020, I found out that I was having my son like right before the whole pandemic started. And I just said, this isn't going to work. Like, when I had my son, I was in a highly visible, highly successful sales role while I was traveling the country twice a month. So flying back and forth pretty regularly, and I was married at the time. So just me and my husband, like, so it worked. And he had a job where he worked a lot of hours as well. So although I was gone, we worked it out. But when I had my son and we were at home under the pandemic orders, I decided, like, no, I want to be more present with this little person that I have. And I also want to be able to live my life in a fulfilling way that I enjoy. I felt like now is the time to enjoy my life, and I didn't want to keep letting things pass me by. So if you're resonating with that at all, just let me know in the chat. Let me know that y'all are here and resonating with what I'm saying. But that deeply moved me to want to pivot my career. And I knew I couldn't start at the bottom. I knew I needed to take all of this skill set at this point, almost 5 years of accomplishments, moving up the corporate ladder, promotion, raises, all the things. I needed to take that and leverage it into what I wanted to move into. So I did that. I took my skill sets, I positioned them well, and I was able to land a role that helped me be able to spend time with my son, move to a new city. I mean, the benefits are pretty much priceless at this point, right? So that is what a career pivot did for me. And I hope that as you are enjoying these videos, as you're getting more context for who I am and what I do, that you feel enlightened and inspired to make your career pivot. Okay. So that's my story. Those are my people. If that is you and you're still here, let's dive into today's topic. So I'm super excited to talk about this because I do this type of stuff like no tomorrow, just off the back of my hand, being able to look at things and be like, if you did it like this, you could probably be in this particular tax bracket versus another, right? I like to figure out how even the smallest things, the simplest things that we do, how can you make that into what your own empire looks like? So, in today's particular example, we're going to be talking about skills that can either be paid hourly at a particular rate, or something that can be paid at a salary at a desired dream rate, something that can change the game for you. And again, you didn't have to do anything differently. I'm going to take some time to share my screen and do a quick demo with you guys, because I want you to see that I'm not just making up these things or, oh, it just happened for me. There's literally examples of this in the economy right now, out in the workplace right now, that you can take hold of if you listen to these strategies, if you trust yourself, if you put yourself out there. You can do these things that I'm sharing with ease. Okay, so before we get to the demo, let's kind of talk about what are the things that you really need to think about when you're considering doubling your salary, when you're considering taking what you already have. The first mistake that I see a lot of people make is they try to put the same box in front of a different client, we'll say, the same box in front of a different person. And basically what that means is, if I am, let's say, a waiter at a restaurant, right? But I want to apply to be, let's say, a salesperson. Okay, we're going to talk from my experience. I'm going to speak to what I know. You want to be a salesperson in tech. Now, when I apply for the job, I use my same resume that I would use to apply to another restaurant. I'm talking about how I serve patrons at their table, how I take their checks, how I, check on them, how I work with the kitchen staff to bring out their meals and all of that, right? Now, granted, those are some very good skills, and those could get you in the door into a sales position. But when a recruiter who's looking at hundreds of thousands of resumes, and I know this also from experience because I did some work as a recruiter, or you're looking at a system that is programmed to look for certain keywords, none of that stuff is going to come up in this space, right? It's not going to make sense. So where you could have advanced in a position if you would have tailored your resume in the right way to speak to this particular audience, you missed the book. So I had someone that recently told me that they're not getting past between the application and interview, they're getting a denial email. They're not even getting to meet anyone. So what that tells me is, especially if you get an instant denial, right? So if you apply for a job and like within an hour, within minutes, you get a denial, that means that somewhere in the application tracking system, your resume did not line up. So that, if I'm to diagnose that issue, it's probably that you're just submitting the same resume and it doesn't resonate exactly with what they're looking for. Now, you don't have to like fluff this up. Like, this is another piece of it. It's all being honest. It's all telling exactly what it is that you do, but it's just about the way that you present it. That's it. So rather than talking about directly, taking orders, right? How can you mirror the language of the position that you're looking for to match exactly or as close as possible? The easiest way to do this is to literally look at the job description and say, okay, they're looking for someone who understands, customer service. All right, so how can I apply customer service to what I do? Well, you're with a customer for several hours, right? You may not be necessarily selling them a product, but you might be upselling them to do a dessert. You may be upselling them to try the special for the evening. You may be suggesting different appetizers if they kind of ask you what's good here. Here are some things that I like. What would be the best thing on the menu? And you're giving them a suggestion. Do you not know that's the same thing that I do in my tech job, that I did in my tech job? Literally, they're like, hey, this is the problem that we have on our campus. This is the things that we're looking to do. What would be the best computer for our campus? Same skill set, the ability to be able to take what people need, what their gaps are, and give them a solution. So that's just a really basic example of how you don't have to make up anything. You don't have to fluff your resume. Just talk about it in the same language that they're speaking. And that is what I'm truly the best at in my zone of genius, is helping you be that translator from what it is that they're asking for and what it is that you have. All right. So that's, if I could give you any tip that's going to help you, especially if you're like, I'm not getting calls back, take the language of the description in a job posting and mirror it to your resume. That alone will at least get you an interview, right? Like, I'm 100% confident that'll at least get you the interview for the right position, right? So we're not saying that you can go from, and I believe in the Lord, so I know that miracles can happen, but I'm saying, as far as my context, I'm not saying you're going to go from, let's think of something else, accountant to veterinarian, right? We're not talking about those type of transitions. We're talking about literally something that you've already done, something that you master, you're passionate about, and how you can up level it into the real thing that you want to do, right? And take those skills that you have. So that's the first piece, making sure that you translate that. And I shared this a little bit in a post earlier this week. So go check out that post. It gives you kind of the notes of what I'm sharing. And this video helps you kind of dive deeper into those points. Okay, so the next part here is going to be around getting to, so actually before that, let's get into the demo, because that's going to help us understand this whole part about the skill set. So I went and did some research for y'all, because again, I wanted to make sure that y'all knew that this is applicable to what is out there in the marketplace right now. Okay, so I found 2 remote roles. If you can see my screen, and I'm just checking down here to make sure that y'all can see it, at least on Facebook. Okay. All right, so it's coming up. Perfect. So this is 2 opportunities, and these literally landed in my inbox. So it must have been the Lord wanting me to talk to y'all through this today, because I wasn't even looking for them. I just said, oh, let me look at this and see what it's about. Anyway, so this first one is a customer service coordinator. Customer service is a skill that probably all of us have, right? We all had that job in high school. We all do some type of customer service, whether that's internal customers or external customers. This is like a highly paid skill set that obviously in this example we'll see can be a $20 skill set, or it can be quite higher, which I'll show you in a moment. So we're not going to go through the whole thing. Obviously, you can look it up if you want to look in detail. But essentially, I just go right on down here to these requirements. I always start here because I just want to get an idea before I go and look into everything else. Minimum of 3 years of office experience, college degree preferred. So that's not even something that is needed, but minimum office experience, and all this stuff is just like the basics of any job. Everybody knows Microsoft Office, like, basics. Everybody can do problem solving. So very simple, straight to the point position, good benefits, all of those things like that. $22 an hour. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now let's jump over to the next tab here, and let's look at this Microsoft position. So see, same skill set, different audience, or different company, if we want to speak exactly to what we're talking about today. So this is a customer success account manager. And for this particular role, again, a lot more description in terms of what it is that you do, but honestly, a lot of fancy words to mean the same exact thing. Minimum requirements. Okay, so they do require a bachelor's degree. There is a little caveat to that. We don't have time to talk about that today, but we'll just go with it for this particular example. Now, and And it also says or equivalent experience. So that's another little caveat. But anyway, and 2 years of customer success solution delivery, etc., customer facing consultant management. Now, you may be looking at some of these things, and this is another thing that I want to free you from in this moment. Sometimes these fancy words are just fancy words. It doesn't mean that you can't apply for it or that you won't be qualified. Literally, you just need someone to tell you, oh, customer facing consultant, yeah, that's what you do over here. Like, just to be that translator for you, and then you'll feel free to move forward. So, all right, 2 years of customer success, right? And this position starts at 80,000 to 176. And just for context, this $20 an hour, I believe I did the calculation, it was about $45,000 a year. So this is what I mean by doubling your salary. In some cases, even with this one, this will be like tripling your salary. Same skill set. They're asking for 2 years of experience versus, I believe this one asks for 3 years. And if you walk through this and the requirements that they're looking for, it's the same skill set, just in a different arena. Okay. So does that land for y'all? Let me know in the comments. I'm not able to see any comments. I don't know if that's because I'm on StreamYard or what, but let me know if that's landing for you. Like how this can be so simple just by having the right understanding in place and how you can be able to move forward into a dream career or even just an opportunity that's more flexible for you, right? So I talk to a lot of people that want remote positions and all of these different things. Like that's accessible to you. And you don't have to do anything more in order to have these opportunities. You just need the right way to package what you have to get what you want. Okay. All right. So I shared a lot of great information in this video. You could literally take this information and go and apply for a role. At minimum, you'll get an interview with just the thing that I shared in the very beginning. But obviously, there are other nuances and pieces that you need to understand. And then you also need to really look at how exactly your skill sets measure up to what you're looking to do in detail. So if you're looking for someone to help you walk you through that, and you're serious, right? You're not just passing by, you're not just trying to figure out, oh, what, is this a good fit? Or maybe I should do this. No, you're like, I need to do something right now. Like 2024 cannot be like 2023 or 2022. I have to make this move. And I know that feeling and I can recognize that in people easily because I was there. I knew I needed to make a change. So if you are in this position where you're ready to do something different, where you're ready to start opening yourself up to the opportunities that you already have destined for you, all you have to do is comment pivot in this chat, right? You can just comment it right here in wherever the chat box is, and I will invite you to a conversation with me. Now, this conversation is going to be about how exactly we can work together and move forward in helping you translate your skill sets into your dreams. And obviously, in this case, if this is your scenario, double or even triple your salary. There are so many skill sets that I could do this with. This is just one particular example. So if you're ready to make that happen, you're ready to make 2024 your year, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm your person to work with for this type of work. And I get results not only for myself, but for my clients. So let's have a conversation about it and let's see how you can be my next success story. All right. See you guys next week. And feel free to share this with someone who may be looking for a career pivot and is serious about their movement. Make sure you share this live with them because this has some goodness in it. All right. Talk to y'all soon.